tutorial, so welcome. Basic colors: white, cadmium red deep, primary yellow, and some but I'm pretty sure if you use like any shades of those colors, like if you have primary red, it would be fine, or just blue. Okay, I'm just gonna dip my brush, this one, to the water and just grab a little bit of red and yellow, and I'll just add fluorescent blue just to make kind of brown color for the basic sketch. Now, no worries about the details. I see there is like a table here. This is where the last flower will be. Got some flowers here and there. I'm just leaving tiny dots to help me with the composition of the painting. There's like a vase here. Okay. And let's see. Maybe it would be like better if we just put it more to the left side. It's a more close-up because there's a lot of more than this space here on the table on the reference photo, on the original painting of Van Gogh. Okay, and we start mopping the flowers. We got one sunflower here. We've got one here which is behind. And I will put just a little bit of the yellow because there's just kind of pure yellow there, just to remember that this is the particular one. And then there is like here. Just be loose with it and have fun. There's also here one on the side. There are some petals here. I'll also put some yellow to remember where they are. I don't have to be worrying about the details right now. I'm just putting a little indications of what is going on so I can remember where each flower is. But pretty much all of that is going to be covered, so no worries. There is a green one, and to remember that this is the green one, I'm grabbing a little bit of the fluorescent blue into the yellow to give me a kind of green, to remember that this is the one that is green on the composition. Okay. And since I have some green on my palette and on my paintbrush, just starting putting some indications of this green on the vase, as in the reference photo. Nothing too crazy. And there's some green here going on, and some green here, and some green here. Okay, let's continue with the sketch of the rest of the flowers. I'm mixing again a light brown. We don't care about it because it's going to get covered. And there's another sort of flower there with a little circle. With a little circle there. And that circle is green. So to remember that, I'm just putting a little bit of a green indication. And let's put one here since we have it on the brass. And again, since I have it on my brass, I don't want it to go to waste. So I look at my reference photo and I just add touches here and there. And to mimic Van Gogh style, I'm just doing short brush strokes. I'm not worrying too much about that because it's going to get covered. If you don't get the exact shades right away, don't you worry, because the famous paintings of Van Gogh are like with thick paint, impasto technique, with oils of course, and we're doing acrylics. So a couple more layers wouldn't do bad. And there's like, as you see, I'm going back and forth with my skits. The vase is a little more greener. I'm just having fun, going here and there. Not too worrying about the exact color right away. And let's just put some yellow here since we got it on our palette. And this is fine, I like that one. The indication of the brush strokes. This is the Van Gogh style we're looking for and we're going for. Okay, I'm just playing a little bit with the colors right now, not worrying too much. Okay, I'm just dipping my brush into the water to clean it a little bit, and let's continue with the sketching of the sunflowers, shall we? This is the green we were talking about, and then there's another sunflower here, tilted on the side, and it got some petals looking this way. And some of this color going on here. Let's add it here also. Because remember, this is the green one. And since I got it on my palette, I'll just add a little bit of here. And here, and here there's another one that goes here and has some leaves. Okay, let's continue with the other sunflowers. We got a big one here, a circle here. I see a little bit of green in this circle, so I'm just adding it. And I see a little bit of brown, so I'm just taking a little bit of brown. Great, and since I got the brown, let me also just put it here. And a little bit of here, and a little bit of here, with dabbing motion, just to get the texture of the sunflower. got a little bit of there, a little bit of red, but it's fine because we're gonna grab some yellow and the mixture we have going on here. And we're gonna continue the dabbing motion till we fill the whole thing. Okay, not so bad. Let's continue. Just going for some delicate petals here. I'm not worrying about them at this point also. Not so much. Just an indication of where they're going to be. Okay, I need a little bit more yellow. And then we got here another sunflower going on here. We'll continue the dabbing motion on this one also. There. There is another here also. I'm not worrying about the petals too much right now. Let me just get the camera a little closer. And on top of that, there's another one here. Let's grab a little bit more yellow. And this one is like looking at the right side there. Okay, let's make this brown a little more vibrant. Good. Let's put a little bit of a brown sage here also. Just a little bit of white. Okay. A little more yellow. There's a little of the brownish color here. And here there's another. Actually, this sunflower goes somewhere around here. It's a big sunflower. Just grabbing some yellow to mix it with the brown that's there already. Okay, nice. I can make that a little bigger than that one. And that has quite some big of petals, so we can start bringing those here with some pure primary yellow over the orange petals we've already made. And also I can see some petals here, but they're not like in full bloom. Here. Let's start putting some of those indications of yellow. Oh, I like that thick paint. Here. Let's grab some white, pure white, and it will blend with the colors here on the sketch. And this is the highlight. And I'll just grab a little more yellow. And kind of blend those, but by the edges. I don't have to touch them the whole way. Great, I also see some white brush strokes here. I'm adding those here. And more yellow. Okay. Just grabbing pure yellow from the tube. Just a little more yellow there. Look at that. Brushstroke upon brushstroke. This is looking so good. I don't know, you guys can see it. Okay. Let's continue. Let's just actually bring that one a little bit here to the side, because I can see like the distance is quite big here, so I'll just have to fix that. But I can see some petals here and there, and here. I'll just put like an orangey for the base color, and we'll continue later with the yellow details. Okay. Okay. Let's okay. Got another stem here, and here another one. Okay. And we got another one here. This is gonna go a little bit out of the frame, but it's fine. Okay, we've done some the foundation of the painting, I would call it. And we got a little bit of here. Great. Now we can go with a bigger brush for the background. Some people do it the other way around. I just go with the flow. And for that, we're gonna mix white. Let's just leave it here with this nice shades of blue, the fluorescent blue. Let me just bring it here so you can see the mixture we're making. And we're going for like a mint color. I don't know if you can see it here. We'll just need some yellow into the mixture. We need it a little darker, so I'm just grabbing more fluorescent blue. And since it's light green, it's not the green we want. But if you notice in the background where the light hits the painting, we can add those, the first brush strokes of the light mixture we made here. I'm not worrying too much about the flowers because we're gonna go later there for the details. Okay, and we want thick brush strokes. And now we're gonna need more fluorescent blue as we go up. Into the mixture here. Yeah, that's the color we're aiming for. I think it's close. Kind of blending them. A little bit more yellow. And we're going in. I'm not worrying too much. Okay. Just dipping my brush a little bit in the water. And we got here also a lighter shade. Okay. Right now, I'm also not worrying about the color too much because we're going to do another layer to make the paint looks thick, like Vincent did. And I can see a little bit of that color we have here. If we grab a little more fluorescent blue and some yellow, we can make like a light green. That kind of goes here in the vase. Great. And maybe a touch of the brown we got here lying around. Okay, here. Okay, we're off to a pretty good start. Let's just also add a little bit of this white here, and let's just take a little bit of that brown. Take a bunch of yellow with a little bit of what's lying around the palette, and let's just go in. We're not worrying too much about the direction of the paint right now because this will be the first layer. Because I see some horizontal brush strokes there, but we're gonna add those later, so no worries. Okay, here. Here also, a little bit more yellow for some horizontal action. Okay, not bad. Trust the process, guys. Oh, this should be a little lower. It should be here. so we have to erase that there. But no worries, we can do that. As we progress, we notice things we haven't noticed while we start painting, even though they say it's pretty good to just notice the painting or the reference photo quite a while before you start painting it. So I suggest you guys give that a try. Just look at the painting for a while. Don't start immediately. I know you're excited to paint. I am also, but look, I made a mistake here out of my excitement. Right. Oh, and it never existed. And I'll just check what's left over in my palette. Just make a little sketch for the second layer. Maybe we go that also a little bit to the downside. It will also fit better. So let me just erase that also. Here. Just to know when I go to my next layer what will happen there. Okay, so we will let that dry and we'll continue later with the second layer. Okay, and now that the paint has completely dried out, we can move on to the next layer. We're gonna start with the background to give it a more Van Gogh's character with more thick brush strokes. So we're gonna mix some Okay, and I'm gonna take this brush. It's kinda not completely square, but it's fine. I'm grabbing a big amount of paint because I will need more fluorescent blue. We're gonna need a lot of thick texture. And we're doing horizontal and vertical strokes. We don't care too much about the previous layer because we're gonna work on it with much greater detail later. We see here that there is more white. This is where the light hits the piece and the vase more. And make sure we don't blend its brush strokes because this is how we're gonna approach Van Gogh style. Okay. I'm grabbing a little bit more fluorescent into the mixture. And a little more white. Whoop, we covered here a little bit of a flower, but it's fine. A little more fluorescent. Since I'm having a little bit of green here, I just give it a touch here on the rest of the flowers. Okay. What's my brush? I grab a little bit of the white. Into the mixture. A touch of fluorescent blue again. I'm just doing small brush strokes. In horizontal and vertical direction. Try and mimic the work of the master. Here there's a little more white. Here we went a little bit to the green side, so I'm grabbing a little bit of fluorescent again. A little bit of white. Okay. And let's grab a little bit more white. And kind of blend this part with the light with the shadow part more. Okay. Now let's work on the sunflowers. Let's grab a little bit of red into the green we got here. And with a touch of blue. We're going to get this dark shade. Of green. Okay. And now with a little bit of orange and the green we got on the side. We're trying to capture like the essence of the sunflowers. If we're thinking that we have to make sunflowers, our mind remembers something else. But if we follow like the shapes and try to mimic the color and the brush strokes, well, Van Gogh, this is what we are gonna achieve. At least try. And remember, we are painting Van Gogh style, so you mustn't be thinking about the amount of paint we use. We have to be generous. And since I've got some color on my brush stroke that looks like the one in the vase, we proceed also here. Try not to overthink too much, and we're just following the flow of the painting. Now I kinda want a brownish color. And there's like an eye looking thing like a subscriber of mine told here. And now I'm just grabbing pure primary yellow and just working around the darker spots of the flowers with some color that's left on the palette. It's like a tiny black spot here, and just some topping here, and a little bit of here. And just a little bit of here for depth. And here. Let's go for the table. Actually, before the table, let's finish the vase with whatever lying around here on the palette. And mostly white. Okay, Now we need a little bit of yellow. You can also apply this color here freely and then give it the impression of brush strokes. We grabbed way too much red. I'm just grabbing the paintbrush. We did the wall. Okay. Let me just grab whatever here is close to brown. Now I just need yellow with whatever here line on the palette where we mix the brown and the orange. And I'm gonna give the last taps here for the highlights. And you see, I'm just having fun with it. I don't like overthink it. Now I'm just taking pure primary yellow from the tube. And a little more yellow here. Okay, and I think we're done. Of course, if you let it dry, you can try another layer with more details, but leaving it also loose like that gives it a different character. Let's take that masking tape off. Whoa, that was close to the disaster. Let me see if I can get this up here. And this will give it like a nice frame. Let me just show you from here. Of course, with all that texture, we have to let it dry for 24 hours. And we can choose to like get into more detail with it, or just leave it loose like that, or even looser if you may. Oh, come on. It's done. Here it is. I hope you like the tutorial, guys, and well, if you try the painting, please post it and tag me. I'll see like if I can enable the community so you can post it there. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I hope you're having fun painting this. Have a good one.